Hi there everyone, this is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth, and that clip that you just saw was a new campaign that the UN is putting on, specifically UNESCO, who has teamed up with the European Commission, the, World Jewish Council, and Twitter to launch this campaign, hashtag think before sharing. Now obviously this sounds like a pretty good idea, you know, nobody wants to be sharing disinformation, but today we're going to look specifically at what sorts of tips and tricks do they have up their sleeves and advice for how to deal with so-called conspiracy theories. So let's take a look at it. This is from the UNESCO website, and it's interesting that it says here right at the top, building peace in the minds of men and women. And I gotta be honest, I'm surprised that in this day and age there's people out there, there's not people who are, you know, complaining about this, saying how bigoted of them to say they're building peace in the minds of men and women. What about those who aren't men or women? How dare they say something like this? You know, and just the fact that I think that it's interesting that somebody hasn't said that yet just goes to show just how far the pendulum has swung way over to the other side and just how insane it is. But you watch, I bet you that'll be a thing pretty soon. They're gonna have that tagline removed. But let's take a look at this. Think before sharing. Stop the spread of conspiracy theories. The COVID-19 84 pandemic has sparked a worrying rise in the disinformation and conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories can be dangerous. They often target and discriminate against vulnerable groups, ignore scientific evidence, and polarize society with serious consequences. This needs to stop. Indeed it does. Let's take a quick look at what they're saying here and who is actually doing these things. Namely, number one, they often target and discriminate against vulnerable groups. Who is the biggest discriminator against the vulnerable group known as the Freedom Convoy? Not the so-called Freedom Convoy, but the Freedom Convoy is Justin Trudeau, who quite literally referred to the entirety of the group as misogynists and racists, completely discriminating against that group. But they're not looking to those types of examples of conspiracy theories or fake news, yet there it is. They go on to say they ignore scientific evidence. Really? Well, isn't it President Joe Biden, quadruple jabbed Biden, who just contracted COVID-19 and then took Paxlovid and produced a negative test and has now contracted COVID-19 84 again, even though he's quadruple vaxxed and still pushing the vaccine? Wouldn't that be somebody who's ignoring the scientific evidence? I mean, we do see the things that they're talking about all around us, but they're pointing the finger at the wrong people. So let's continue. Conspiracy theories cause real harm to people, to their health, and also to their physical safety. You know what caused real harm to people's health and physical safety? The COVID-19 84 lockdowns, the extreme restrictions and the measures that really sought to wipe out the middle class. So many businesses were destroyed because of this, not because of this so-called virus, but because of the real virus, which is the government's overreaction, or maybe better put, planned reaction to this. So it goes on. A new campaign helps you, let me finish up here. They amplify and legitimize misconceptions about the pandemic and reinforce stereotypes which can fuel violence and violent extremist ideologies. Like, what they're getting at there is, you know, the claim that the Freedom Convoy was a whole bunch of, again, misogynists and racists because, you know, one stooge had a Nazi flag there, most likely a plant. But the media jumped all over that. That is the spreading of fake news. That is disinformation spreading. Good example there, UNESCO. A new campaign helps you learn how to identify, debunk, react to, and report on conspiracy theories to prevent their spread. Check out the infographics in the social media pack below and help spread the word that facts matter. And no one is to blame. Thinking critically and being informed about conspiracy theories is the key to challenging them. This UNESCO campaign is implemented jointly with the European Commission, Twitter, and the World Jewish Congress. And here's all their infographics where they go on to explain how to identify conspiracy theories, how to identify conspiracy theorists, and how to deal with these dastardly people. And I found an article that breaks it down pretty good. It goes through some of the charts. I just briefly wanted to share this with you before I completely debunk all of this thoroughly. But get a load of this. UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories. The world is not secretly manipulated by a global elite. The United Nations has declared war on conspiracy theories, describing the rise of conspiracy thinking as worrying and dangerous, and providing the public with a toolkit to pre-bunk and debunk anyone who dares to suggest that world governments are anything but completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. The UN also warns that George Soros, the Rothschilds, and the State of Israel must not be linked to any alleged conspiracies. UNESCO has teamed up with Twitter, the European Commission, and the World Jewish Congress to launch the campaign dubbed #ThinkBeforeSharing, Stop the Spread of Conspiracy Theories. The UN wants you to know that events are not secretly manipulated behind scenes by powerful forces with negative intent. And if you encounter anyone who thinks that the global elite are conspiring to consolidate power and dictate global events, you must take action. According to UNESCO, if you are certain that you have encountered a conspiracy theory on the internet, then you must react immediately. Post a relevant link to a fact-checking website in the comments. Never mind the fact that these fact-checkers are mostly untrained and unqualified hacks, performing, quote, fact checks from the comfort of their bedroom in between posting far-left political content on personal blogs and getting high. UNESCO also provides advice for anyone who encounters a real live conspiracy theorist in the flesh. Oh no, how scary. According to the UN agency, you must not, under any circumstances, be lured into an argument with the conspiracy theorist. Any argument may be taken as proof that you are part of the conspiracy theory and will reinforce that belief. So do not engage in any form of rational debate. Do not, be open to any form of discussion here. Immediately put up a wall, shut them down as nonsense conspiracy theorists, and do not engage, do not engage. Real good advice there, UNESCO, on moving forward on how we try to understand each other and, what was it? Build peace in the minds of men and women? Interesting. Instead, you should show empathy towards them and avoid ridiculing them. And if you're a journalist, you must report them to social media and contact your local national press council or press ombudsman. Remarkably hidden in the fine print, UNESCO admits that conspiracy theories do exist, and I'm going to, as I said, totally debunk this and show you some of these limited hangouts that are placed there on purpose for exactly that reason, is to be able to point to certain conspiracies to kind of discredit others, but we'll get into that. But it says, according to the UN, it's only a real conspiracy theory if it's unearthed by the media. They are more often centered on single, self-contained events or an individual, like an assassination or a coup d'etat. They are unearthed by whistleblowers in the media using verifiable facts and evidence. There's just one problem with the UN's definition of a real conspiracy theory. The media is being fully bought and paid for by the elite, and it's the elite who are conspiring against the masses. So ask yourself, when was the last time the media unearthed a conspiracy? And also ask yourself, when was the last time the media covered up a conspiracy? And indeed, you just got to look at the evidence, the science-based evidence. I mean, look, Justin Trudeau was already caught bailing out the Canadian media to the tune of $600 million. And of course, those who are now under his thumb are not going to dare, bite the hand that feeds them. If you want to look at my coverage on that, just do a search on my website for $600 million, and you'll see this: Trudeau's digital charter and the $600 million media bailout explained. May Canadian journalism rest in peace. Or the Canadian media $600 million bailout exposed what you need to know. And not only that, how about Bill C-11, which was formerly Bill C-10, you know, which really was an amendment to the Broadcasting Act that would give the CRTC the ability to basically consider anybody who is broadcasting, like yours truly right now here on this channel, as being basically on par with the CBC or the CTV, and therefore subject to regulations by the government. And obviously this has a lot of critics saying that this is going to give them the ability to censor, you know, online content of people like myself. And you know, this was pushed back and was eventually reintroduced, as they always do, under Bill C-11 now. You see, the censorship of the internet has been pushed back so many times. It used to be CISPA and PIPA and SOPA and ACTA, and they keep changing the name of it. Keeps getting exposed for what it really is, so they rebrand it into something else. Well, now it's Bill C-11, which is the one that we have to worry about. So I want to leave you today, guys, with what I think a lot of this stems from is this scientifically peer-reviewed scientific paper called on the viability of conspiratorial beliefs. And this was a so-called peer-reviewed journal that was put out, I think, 5, maybe 6 years ago now. And it's basically where the mentality of what UNESCO is putting out with this campaign, hashtag think before sharing, this is what it all stems from. And back then I thoroughly debunked this. So I want to share that expose with you. I put a lot of time and effort into this one, guys. It was a long time ago, didn't get a lot of views, but you know, I did the research, you know, read out the narration that it came up with, put, you know, B-roll and music. I really tried to make it like a short little documentary because I knew that this was going to be used to discredit voices like mine on the internet in the near future. So just quickly, here it is on my site. On the viability of conspiratorial beliefs debunked, Dr. David Grimes has published a paper proving that conspiracy theories don't add up by using math and statistics. The paper is called On the Viability of Conspiratorial Beliefs and was published in the open access peer-reviewed journal PLOS1. This paper may be the best example of why peer-reviewed doesn't equal scientific proof. In this video, Dan Dicks of Press for Truth tears apart this poorly produced paper and shows how the so-called skeptic community can be just as dogmatic as the very ones they are accusing. Very, very important information to understand moving forward, guys. It's only like 6 minutes long, but as I said, I put a lot of effort into this because of the importance of it, debunking this nonsense, which is now starting to, you know, show its ugly face in society through organizations like the UN and UNESCO. So here's my video, The Viability of Conspiratorial Beliefs Debunked. Check it out.
The more people who are involved in a conspiracy, the greater the odds are of that conspiracy getting exposed. That's human nature. That's why clandestine operations are compartmentalized, so no single person or group of people really understand what they're working on. They are pieces of a larger whole which they don't quite comprehend. That's how the Manhattan Project stayed secret for so long, and that's how the elite get away with their operations today. But recently, Dr. David Grimes has published a paper allegedly proving that conspiracy theories don't add up by using math and statistics. The corporate state media picked up on the paper, and every so-called skeptic has been sharing the findings as if it were definite proof. So let's take this apart. The paper is called On the Viability of Conspiratorial Beliefs and was published in the open access peer-reviewed journal PLOS1. This paper may be the best example of why peer-reviewed doesn't equal scientific proof. Ignoring the argument of compartmentalization, the basic premise is that if man-made climate change is false, or if vaccines weren't safe, or that if there was a cancer cure that is purposely covered up because it's not patentable. If those things were true, so many people would have to be in on it that leaks would occur and the conspiracy would be exposed. Here's the problem. One would want to select numerous examples of existing theories of different sizes and durations, and plot them all on a chart. To be truly objective and research-orientated, one would want to have a lot of data points. If you did this, you may even see a pattern between the number of people involved and the months it took before someone exposed the conspiracy. The actual paper, however, only uses 3 examples and extrapolated from that. They were the NSA's PRISM program, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, and the inaccuracy of many FBI forensic tests. Another problem arises since the number of people involved with these affairs is unknown. Grimes just guesses, putting the number of people involved with the NSA at 30,000. In reality, the PRISM program could have involved just 100 people, or even as little as 10. The data points Grimes used were completely useless. He didn't use enough examples, and the few he did use were not reliable. What's missing is data on conspiracies that have remained secret. Not to mention, 2 of the 3 conspiracies he picked were before the internet era, omitting a rather major variable. There also weren't any small conspiracies in his paper, just 3 examples of big institutional affairs. All 3 are also based in the United States, with 2 of them in spying agencies where secrecy is a part of their job. From these bad examples, Grimes calculates the likelihood of someone in the conspiracy blabbing about it and exposing the operations. In a given year, Grimes calculates this at about 0.5/10,000%. This is ridiculous. If this minuscule, quantum-sized number was true, we wouldn't have the word gossip in the dictionary. No one would ever spread rumors or talk about people behind their back. There wouldn't be criminal laws and common law offenses regarding conspiracies. This is just one of the problems of equating mathematics with human action. People don't act like numbers in an equation. This is one of the reasons mathematical economics has been such a dismal failure. Real-life examples have already disproven Grimes' paper. The email leak from the University of East Anglia, which exposed fraudulent practices in climate change science, is a perfect example. As well, Grimes did not account for any deaths in his math. Some people naturally die off, taking knowledge of the conspiracy to their grave, or they are killed to keep the conspiracy from becoming exposed. Like Lee Harvey Oswald's murder as he was being taken away by police, telling the TV cameras, "I am just a patsy." The CIA have now admitted they withheld information about the JFK assassination from the Warren Commission. The static population assumption in Grimes' paper shouldn't have been ignored if this was truly a scientific paper on the nature of conspiracy theories. Perhaps the real conspiracy is why this bad paper was hailed as science, while real exposed conspiracies, the ones that become less important to conceal years after they happen, are neglected. This just goes to show that the so-called skeptic community can be just as dogmatic as the rest of us. Nobody is immune to ideology. The key is being able to keep an open mind and revise your beliefs when necessary. There wasn't much of that in this paper. This was just bad science, coupled with confirmation bias. Thanks for watching. stay vigilant, and as always, my friends, press for truth.
So, there you have it, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Was that a good debunking of the peer-reviewed scientific paper on the viability of conspiratorial beliefs? And would you agree this is kind of what they're basing this current mindset on at the UN and UNESCO? Guys, it's really important that people understand that this is how things go. So I wanted to bring it all to your attention today. Please, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, check the links in the description below, whether you happen to be watching this on BitChute or Odyssey or Rumble or Minds or Float or Hive, or maybe you're watching this even on YouTube. Wherever you happen to be watching it, click more or in the description or expand or whatever it says, so you can find the sources and all the links to this video, and also to where you can support me at places like pressfortruth.ca/donate. And that's all for today, guys. Just wanted to bring all that to your attention. Thank you once again for tuning in. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, we're gonna have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.